So why did I waste my weekend cloning Duolingo? The Duolingo CEO recently suggested replacing all his workers with AI, which went about as well as you would expect. So I decided to speedrun that dystopia in 12 hours using Claude 4. What could possibly go wrong? I started out by mass screenshotting the Duolingo app and compiled a long features list. Then, I rewrote this into a massive prompt for Claude, asking it to translate the prompt into more prompts for Claude Code. While I started up Claude Code and started feeding it the prompts, I also used the Claude desktop app to ask it to generate the course plan as a massive JSON file. I kept maxing out the context window and had to click continue repeatedly. Then, disaster struck. I accidentally clicked the JSON file preview since the desktop app kept freezing up, not knowing that it would change where the output was generated, and Claude corrupted the file without me noticing. After an hour of mashing continue and watching my JSON file self-destruct, I started new chat threads for generating JSON files for readings and video calls. I was able to get Claude Code to recognize bits of the malformed JSON to structure its database with Swift data. In the meantime, I spent quality time in Sublime Text playing data assertion, reconstructing the JSON file. Since Claude can't generate images, I asked ChatGPT for robot duos based off Duolingo's design guidelines, though I only ended up using it for the app icon. Then came the first token limit. Even with the Claude Max plan, I'd burned through enough tokens to power a small town and got locked out. It took another hour of debugging, but I finally fixed both the JSON and loading lessons, and the app actually opened. I then moved on to fixing bugs. The debugging loop was predictable. Test, find crash, describe the crash to Claude Code, wait for the fix, apply the fix, and find the new crash introduced by the fix. It's the circle of life but for software. Then I hit the Claude Max limit again. I did some UI fixes, bug fixes, and crash fixes from audio playback and hit the Claude Max limit once again. I kept fixing bugs and added support for reviewing mistakes. Then fixed more bugs. I asked Claude Code for a debug panel to skip around lessons for testing. It created a beautiful diagnostic system that somehow introduced more bugs than it was meant to debug. I also used Claude's generated reading exercises and added them in. This finished very quickly, but I ran into the usage limit again. At this point, I just opened up Xcode and fixed some bugs myself to save myself time, because sometimes a 1x engineer is faster than a 10x engineer. For the final feature, I wanted to add video calling using the real-time OpenAI API. The initial implementation was generated in a couple minutes, and I was impressed. Then I hit run. The debugging took the rest of an hour and a half. Repeated crashes, WebSocket disconnecting. I tried to provide links to the OpenAI APIs, but it wasn't able to fix the issues. At the end, I ended up looking through the docs myself, reading the code, and pointing out the issues to fix them. With only half an hour left, I just focused on fixing as many bugs as possible. Originally, I was going to add in some graphics, but I abandoned the idea due to the amount of bugs. Here's the final demo. A semi-functional language learning app with AI-generated lessons across 15 units from A1 to B2. I have the normal questions flow from Duolingo, all generated by Claude. I also have the explain my answer feature hooked up to ChatGPT. There's a reading lesson that almost makes sense, also generated by Claude. And of course, the video calling feature, which works about as well as Zoom on airplane Wi-Fi. Obviously, it lacks all of Duolingo's polish, but it was also only 12 hours of work, and that's kind of the point. When you replace humans with AI, Duolingo effectively becomes a weekend hackathon project. Humanity is the only moat when AI is a commodity. But since I'm not a business person, let me put it differently. We already have the tech for automatic translations with AI, theoretically making learning a language with AI redundant. The whole point of learning a language is human connection. Replacing everything with AI is like making all your friends bots. Technically possible, but also missing the point. I'm clearly not anti-AI. I just use AI to build an AI wrapper stuck with more AI. Video calling to practice speaking is a genuinely useful feature, but there's a difference between AI as a tool and AI as a replacement for everything that makes the app worth using. Duolingo has become a part of my routine, like coffee and existential dread. Please don't make me find a new app. I'm too old to change.